Hi, welcome to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Get ready to revitalize your mind, body, and soul. We're here to inspire women who are looking to break free from old patterns and ideas to create a life of increased confidence and improved health. Say goodbye to limiting beliefs and hello to new possibilities. So kick back, get ready to have some fun, and let's dive in. We'll uncover tools and insights that can help you build a life that's truly nourishing, body and soul. Hi, I'm Tracy.
And I'm Victoria.
And we're glad you're here with us. So welcome.
Happy New Year again, even though it still feels like it.
It is.
Are you used to writing 2024?
My brain transitioned to 2024 in December.
Oh, okay.
So well, I was struggling to write 2023 in December.
Like school. We are not in school anymore where we write the date and the 2024 and have to, like we don't write anything.
I do at work, but
oh yeah, that's true. So I don't.
Anyway. And in my little journal I do every day, I write the date. So yeah.
2024. There we are.
So I just want to share a little sweet something that I saw. We had a dinner at church and we're cleaning up afterwards. And there are these carts that have, they fold up the tables and put the tables on the carts. And there's these big heady, I think the tables are 8 feet and they're heavy. And there were these two little twin kindergarten boys who were going to move that cart. And so they're putting it in the cubby thing where it goes. And there were adults on either side as well, obviously helping them out. But they're pushing and pushing. They get to the store and there's this little lip and everybody's like, you just got to push a little harder. And by now there's some adults that are starting to watch it going on. And that, you're a kid and you think that you're doing all the work, and it was very evident in their little faces that they thought that they were doing most of the work. And so they get it into the lip and into the thing. And then as soon as they step back, everybody just burst into applause.
Aww, that's the cutest.
It's just very cute, but it's also, I thought,
did they still have their dark curly hair? I haven't seen.
Well, they gave it kind of short, yeah.
Oh, is it okay?
And they were just beaming, and I thought it was just a really beautiful moment to see so many people just there, to cheer these kids on. And to see how the kids accepted it. I thought this is just really beautiful to see this kind of support. And I think that most of us have that kind of support, but as adults, we don't recognize it and we don't accept it as easily because those boys were so proud of what they had done and they were willing to accept the applause, and many of us don't. But I thought it was just this really beautiful little moment.
Oh, that is sweet. Did I have a sweet thing this week? I had a week. So my mom is still hurt and laid up to the point where she is going to need a bed downstairs because we have stairs and stuff. So there was a lot that was going on and I needed to go and talk to someone to just map it out. I just wanted a bouncing how do you call that?
Sounding board.
I was like a bouncing ball. No, I don't need a bouncing ball. My life is a bouncing ball. Anyway, so I go over to my friends and we're going through everything and she's like, well, we're talking about where to shower and all that because we don't have a shower downstairs. And she looked and we were talking about maybe we could use her shower every few days. And then she's like, well, there's a bedroom right here. And by the time we were done talking, she had 100% offered her, with kindness and generosity and so much love. I was like, I have to accept. And so she offered that for my mom until we get everything set up with
to stay with her.
To stay with her, in the bedroom. And then and they were so excited. They seemed, and it was so fun. So I got a little cheering section of my own, and I was like, thank you. Thank you. I don't even know what to do. Thank you doesn't even cover it. I might drop 1,000 roses on her house. It wouldn't even cover it. I'm fun. Anyway.
That's beautiful.
That's my sweet moment.
Life is beautiful.
It is. It is.
Just gotta be sure to notice.
We have to look for it. Look for the good things.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is kind of opposite of our. This is going to be a little rant for me today. It is January. We are going to be inundated with before and after pictures.
Yes.
And 90% of the time, the before and after pictures are either makeup or it's body size. And I'm officially going to step up on my soapbox I thought about bringing a little soapbox in for my little fingers to stand up on, but I didn't do
Mm-hmm.
it. These before and after shots, caveat, it is important to notice progress. I am
Mhm.
all for noticing progress, absolutely.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
this particular form, I have an issue with. And let's talk about why.
Yes. Yes, before picture, after picture.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
First of all, they're so unrealistic because the makeup ones, the before pictures are like zero makeup, this
Yeah.
expression.
Oh, well, I mean, just so you know, I did though. I took those.
I
I took those for people because I worked as a makeup artist.
Yeah.
And so I took those for people. Yes. And then they took them and then they edited them however they wanted to.
Yeah.
And they edited them. Like, yeah, you start with
Yeah.
absolutely no makeup.
No makeup and a solemn
Mhm.
expression.
Yeah.
And then you have makeup artists and
Yeah. Makeup
artists. Artists with a
yes.
capital A. These people really are artists and the canvas is
Mhm.
our face
Mhm.
and their hair.
Yeah.
And so you have this really drab, sad looking
Mhm.
picture ahead of time
Mhm.
and this beautiful, professionally
Mhm.
done. So my issue with that is that if you're gonna show me a before and after, show me something more realistic, like I'm pretty sure that person's not walking around with their hair completely undone and no
Yeah.
makeup and looking sad all the time.
Yeah.
Show me how they normally look
Mhm.
and then show me
But
the
let me be
difference.
clear when I say
Mhm.
they added the pictures after
Yeah.
I did them. So like making their eyes look bigger, making it, I mean, the whole thing, they edited them after.
So you
And
made
then
them beautiful.
and then we
made them
put
more
those
beautiful.
up, and then we put those
Oh
up
my goodness.
to let people know, like, here's a before and after.
So yes, very unrealistic. Very unrealistic.
I don't want to say
Here's the before and here's after Photoshop.
Mhm. Yes, yes, exactly. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
and so those before, it's like, how many of us run around with a professional hair and makeup team all the time? You know?
The Kardashians. But this is kind of a thing, like, I know that it's bad for me to probably, my soul eternally, to watch the Kardashians, but it's been very interesting, like before, whatever, but now that they like live in a world, a stratosphere of,
Stratosphere is a good
very,
word.
very famous people, very art houses and
Mhm.
and fashion houses and all that, gathering them. So I've been watching. And it's super interesting to me that they're kind of on their normal day or whatever. It's not the before particularly, but they have very little makeup on, and then they talk about it going glam.
Mhm.
And so they go in and you see Kim Kardashian will go sit down and there will be people all around her, several people all around her. And then she comes out looking how we picture Kim Kardashian to look.
Mhm.
And it's like, that's not just one person or two people doing their hair.
It's a team.
It's a team of people
Yeah.
that they travel with.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really hard. Like speaking of working as a makeup artist, I had so many young girls come into me and say, I want to look like Kim Kardashian. And I look at them and I think,
Kim,
can we look at you?
Kardashian.
Yeah, like, yeah, look at you. Let's look at you. Like, let's look like you. Like, you're beautiful. Like, who wants to look like Kim Kardashian when you can look like you? I mean, I know that sounds trite, but for real. So anyway, yeah.
Well, also too, the weight ones, those really make, hopefully you've seen this, and if you haven't, we'll just pull back this curtain right now. There are people who have gone, this is unrealistic and let me show you why. And they will take two pictures of themselves, like 2 minutes apart, and they look 15 to 20 pounds heavier than the second one because of the pose, because of the angle, and it's the same person at the same time.
Yes.
And so there's that.
Dang it, I should have looked it up. There's an Instagram page where this girl shows how first of all, she's tall and she's slim, but she's got like a pooch tummy and like different things. But she'll show you that these are the angles that people are using to look like this. And even during the body positivity movement, which I guess is still going on, but like the body positivity models, here's how they look, their bum look, bigger. I don't think I've used the word bum in like 100 years. Their butt, they look bigger so that they look more like they're the positivity, their waist looks smaller, but like how they could proportion their body to make sure that they fit. in these like things, but
Yeah.
she does and it's really extraordinary to
Yeah.
see how much
Yeah.
posing and lighting and all of that.
And so that leads right into the second one. They play with our minds
Yes.
because they take this, they hit us in a really vulnerable place. They take this, the makeup ones where people are just looking bland and drab and dull in their expression.
Yeah.
Or people who are overweight in their quote unquote, in their before pictures. And whether this is true or not, being overweight is in our culture is associated with being out of control. And not having your act together. And so we look at those before pictures and it hits us in a really vulnerable place because who among us has not felt like their life is just,
that you're the before and there is no after.
Right. I'm just, I'm one relation. And our
continuous, like, what do they call those things when you're in the airport? This is my perimenopause.
Oh, the moving
those
sidewalks.
things. Yes, that's the before.
Yeah,
You're just constantly on it. You're there. There's no after. You're not going on the other one.
Then they contrast out with this person who now is super thin and fit, or this person who's totally made up. And we look at that and we go, oh my gosh, that could be me. There's hope.
Yeah, it does. That does play. That does play
with our minds. It gives us this idea that there's this neighborhood that we can earn our way into. This is a land of eternal sunshine and bliss.
That's so sad. Yeah, I mean, you're right. That's what it feels like. Like there's a neighborhood you're going to go join, as long as you can pedal fast enough or hard enough or whatever.
And when I get my after, I get to live there, and then I'll be happy.
Yes.
And the implication is that I can't be happy now because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And that is 100% false. 100% false.
Yeah.
But my biggest thing about it is we live in this life, in this world that we live in. We're bound by time. And so we like to kind of measure things by time. But when is before and when is after? What is it anyway? It doesn't, before and after in this regard, it doesn't really exist. So,
ooh, that was metaphysical there.
Time doesn't exist. We're going there.
Yeah. There is no before, there is no after. It's only eternal.
Well,
something. Sometimes bliss, sometimes not.
As an example. So most of my life, I lived at my adult life, I lived at a weight that doctors would be happy with. And then I had 3 kids at the time, and it kept a little weight after, but I still, even with that, I'm still at a weight that doctors were happy with. And then my sister died when she was only 38. And after that, it was and going through that, I gained 20 pounds. And then carried that around for a while. I thought, okay, time to be done with this. And then shortly after that, my dad had a stroke, a very severe stroke. My dad lived far away, halfway across the country, and he never regained his ability to speak or to type or anything. So although he didn't die from that stroke at that point, it was as though I lost him in a lot of ways, because I couldn't talk to him on the phone. He couldn't email, he couldn't text. There was no communications directly with him. It all then went through my stepmom. And so then with that stress, gained another 20 pounds, carried that around for a while. Was like, okay, no, gotta be done with this. And so then that's when I went to Weight Watchers, and I lost all of that weight, got back to a nice healthy weight, had my 4th child, and uncharacteristically for me, after I had her, weight just completely fell off. It was like,
that's because she's so beautiful and wonderful and the sweetest ever.
It was also just, there's a whole nother trail to go off there, but there were things that happened around her birth that really just changed me.
Oh wow.
And so that had a part in it too. But then years down the road, I had the recession hit. And my husband at the time was the general contractor of a small company, and the recession hit construction the hardest.
Oh yeah.
And we just about lost everything. the full closure notice was on the door. We avoided that barely. But the financial stress of that, and we used all of our savings, all of our credit cards were maxed out. We had nothing. We were at the very end of everything. And then also in that period of time, my son's best friend died suddenly in a car accident, and it sent one of our younger kids into it began the path of self-destruction for him. And so then we're dealing with this child with addictions and anger and all of these things and all this financial stuff going on. I gained 70 pounds during that time.
Yeah.
So then here we are now.
That seems normal. I mean, it seems normal. That's what happens when people, for the most part, not everybody, but
yeah,
for the most part.
Some people lose weight like crazy when they're stressed.
Yeah, that's not
me.
No, me neither.
So, but then, so now here we are, and things are financially much better. That we're long out of the recession, and things financially are better. And my son, who was dealing with addictions, he's much better, and he's married with a lovely family, and so all that's better. So the point of this is, so when's the before and when's the after in that? Is the before when I was at a quote unquote healthy weight and then gained weight, because then that was a different time of my life? Or was the before after I gained the weight after my sister died, or after I gained the weight after my dad died, and then when I lost the weight?
Yeah.
And then after a while of that, but then I gained it and almost double what I had lost. So then, oh my gosh, what does that do to us? Because now I never deserved that after, because I blew it. If we're thinking in before and after, or is my after now, even though I'm heavier, but now life is in a much better place? So where is the before and where's the after? It's just all during.
So I'll tell you the Weight Watchers story of the before and after, to change the term just a little bit. So I went into Weight Watchers. I was like 26, I think. And I probably had I had a really stressful job, and in the job itself, we would drink every Friday. We had beer bus. We had there was a lot of drinking that went on. There was a lot of eating of fancy restaurants kind of that went on. And so I had gained weight. And so I left that job to go back to school. And so I went to Weight Watchers, and I don't remember what I weighed, but I probably, let's just say 40 pounds. And so I worked really hard, and I was in my 20s, so it didn't take as long as the normal thing. And I probably over the course of 6 months lost the 40 pounds. So every week I'm there, you go to Weight Watchers, there's a group, I don't know if this still exists anymore, but there would be a group, and you would have the same time that you usually went, and you'd have the same group that you usually went with. And so there was you got to know everybody. And so when I reach and they have a goal weight set for you at Weight Watchers, and you have to do some certain things, and they give you a key, and there's a ceremony when you reach your goal weight. So I was going to reach my goal weight. I knew it. I knew this ceremony was going to be then, whatever. And so I brought a picture in, and I wore the same pants that I wore when I first started. And I thought, well, I'll get up there, the pictures that you see there, people are holding it. Yes. Now, also, I'm just going to preface this by saying, I was a college student, and sometimes I did all of my laundry, and sometimes I didn't. So I
an interesting addition.
found a pair of panties that were clean, but they probably weren't the best to be doing this, just in case. So I get up there, and I'm all excited, and everybody's excited for me, because everybody's, we're friends.
Yeah, you're after now.
Yeah, and they were like, "Yay, show this," So I pull my pants out, and something happened. I don't remember what. I kind of stumbled a little, and I dropped to them, and they dropped off. And the panties I had found to wear were these lacy, these red lacy thongs. Was something. Now, I was in my 20s, so I at least looked pretty decent. So it was like a shock, and so I was picking them up and whatever. And so everybody is laughing and dying. And so we have one man there So he was like, I think he was old in my mind. He was old. He might have been in his 50s.
He gathered all his
I think
buddies
he's
to bring him in Weight Watchers next time.
Yeah. So I was so embarrassed. And everyone afterwards comes up to me and they're like, that was so funny. That just seems like something you. And then the old man didn't come up to me, but his wife did. And she's like, that's more action than he's seen in years. So anyway, it was very exciting. And like, it was embarrassing. It was my most embarrassing moment. I don't know how you get more embarrassing than that. But like, that was my most embarrassing moment. But that was my after. And there we go.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my after.
The dangers of
really.
before and after.
Yeah. Yeah, see, you gotta be careful. You gotta be real careful about that. Yeah. Anyway, that's what that happened. Yes,
Yeah.
that was my after. And
Yeah.
that, of course, obviously is not the after. And have I gained those those pounds back and lost those pounds and gained them and passed them? And there you go. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you.
Yeah, so
what
it's just,
you-
I mean, and to me, that's the biggest danger is
Mhm.
trying to break our life into before and after, because
Yes.
it's all during, and if we're not
Mhm.
living the during, if all we're doing is focusing on, okay,
How do I get
when
to
I
this?
get to there,
Yes.
when I get to there,
Yeah.
then
Then my life will start.
then
And then I'll be happy. And then I'll be this. And then
I'll be loved,
Then I'll have
and
a
then
great
I'll be
job.
confident,
Mhm.
and then yeah.
My job is gonna be awesome. Everybody's gonna treat me great.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. And we lose power because the only place we have power is in the moment we're living right now. The past only holds the power that we allow it to.
Yeah.
And how we respond and
Mhm.
frame our past, that's the only power that the past has.
Mhm.
And the future only has the power that we give it right in this moment as well, because the future hasn't happened yet, so it doesn't have power. Our present idea of it does. And so right now is the only time that we have power. And we're so busy focusing on before or after,
Mhm.
we're not now, and we're not living in our power.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not.
And it's easy to focus on the like, when is it gonna be after?
Mhm.
You know, it's not only weight too. We do that with other things, but
Lots of things.
yeah,
Lots of things.
financially or,
Mhm.
you know, job wise or
Mhm.
whatever. But weight it's so prevalent to see,
Mhm.
you know,
Especially this time of year. I
and
mean,
yeah.
always, but especially in January.
Or I don't, did I talk about how the Vogue article in that Ozempic? Is that the drug?
Oh, you told me about it, but we haven't talked
Yeah,
about it here.
so I love Vogue, and so I read an article about, and I love the like award seasons and the dresses and the red carpet. It's like I lived for that. And so I was reading Vogue about, they said how, you know, these are going to be kind of the trends on the red carpet. And they said that one of the trends on the red carpet is going to be, you know, bodycon dresses where they're fitted, and, you know, the ball gowns are going to be out because all the movie stars and TV stars are taking Ozempic because they can afford it. And so they have all lost a ton of weight. And so I watched the Golden Globes and I watched it with that in mind, and they were right. All the dresses, there weren't very many ball gowns. They were all like, you know, either close or, you know, column dresses. And yeah, and I was like, yeah, she looks different. And Oprah, obvious, if that's probably an obvious one, Oprah looks different. Like you could see that some of them looked just different than they had before, that there's some amount, and the men too. And so, I mean, I might have been a little paranoid where I was like, oh, how did they get so skinny? How did they get so skinny? But I thought if that's just going to be like a casual, how we view things is by looking through for Ozempic.
Oh, Ozempic.
The O, the big O. Well, not that big O, but another O. The lesser O. Anyway,
So
red thumbs and big O's. That's me today. Yeah. All right.
So let's not give, and two, as we give away our power, we also, this moment is where joy is too.
Yes.
It's where we can have real joy.
Mhm.
So when we're focused too much on before and after, like I said, caveat again, absolutely believe in measuring progress, but let's measure real progress that is, and appreciate it as part of our journey, not as a before and after.
Yeah.
It's just, let's choose joy.
Yes, let's choose joy. And yeah, I think we're gonna have to be really careful. That was the one thing the Vogue article said, is we're gonna have to be really careful about how we look at movie stars and how we measure ourselves against them. And it's gonna be dangerous. I mean, I was like,
It
this
already
is
is.
Vogue. This isn't like, I'm not reading some other like thing. This is Vogue saying it's gonna be
Yeah.
dangerous, and we need to be careful when we look
Yeah.
at all the pictures to know that isn't, it's not realistic, and it's not even hardly real. You
Yeah,
know, so anyway,
yeah,
so yeah,
Yeah.
so live now,
yeah.
live happy,
Yep. And so
wear red thongs.
next time you see a before and after picture,
Mhm.
frame it properly.
Yep.
And remember to nourish your body and your soul.
And your soul.
Mhm.
All right.
See you next
later.
time.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, if you want to help us grow this podcast that we're having fun doing, like and subscribe.
And comment.
Oh, yes.
Please comment. We will comment back.
Yes, we will. Hey, it's Tracy. If this was helpful and you'd like more, follow me on Instagram at tlastel.nourishingbodyansoul, or on Facebook or YouTube at Nourishing Body and Soul, or you can find my website at nourishingbodyssoul.com. Thanks for tuning in to Nourishing Body and Soul, the podcast. Before we wrap up, we just want to remind you that the information we share in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended for medical advice. While we hope you find our discussions helpful, we strongly recommend that you seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider before making any changes to your diet, exercise routine, or any other aspect of your health. We also want to make it clear that the host, guests, and producers of this podcast are not responsible for any adverse effects or consequences that may result from the use of any information or suggestion discussed in this podcast. We care about your well-being, but we can't take responsibility for individual outcomes. By listening to this podcast, you agree to indemnify and hold harmless the host, guests, and producers of this podcast from and against any and all claims, damages, liabilities, costs, and expenses arising from your use of the information provided in this podcast. We're so grateful for your support, and we hope you keep listening and learning with us. Thanks.